We've all obviously seen a young demographic come back to these games. I don't know that people watch baseball, Stephen, like we did as kids, and I don't think Jays fans, and I'm being blunt, know the rest of the league like we used to, because you can just watch the Jays every night, and prior to that, you couldn't. You'd watch a national game on Saturday or Sunday night or Monday night. That said, if there is a depletion of talent over the next couple of years, and the record thaws a little bit, how many people do you think still keep coming to the ballpark? To me, it's more an experience than NBA games are, than NHL games are. People like being outside. People like to have chats. How will it really, fall through and crevice a little bit?
Well, it probably drop off. It makes sense. We're back to almost historic highs with this team in terms of attendance, and we're league highs in terms of the American League. So yeah, it would dip if they were a non-contending team. That said, there's going to be a whole bunch of other things going on with that ballpark over those years, which might also inspire people to show up. I think they're going to pump a ton of money into the Rogers Center, and it's going to be transformed in a pretty, not real grass, but it's going to be transformed into a way where inside, I think it's almost not going to be recognizable. So that's a carrot. Yeah, the one thing I would say is, people who kind of pine for teardowns and let's play young guys and should kind of look at the timelines in places. Like Houston's got a great team right now, right? I think they're going to win the World Series once their pitching gets healthy. But look at the timeline there. These things do not happen quickly. The Jays are not positioned to do it quickly. They don't have a bunch of guys beating down the door right now, really. And basically, kind of be careful what you wish for. Just kind of, I think we all should kind of, again, I'm saying this from a fan point of view. Enjoy where you are. Enjoy the moment. Let the season play itself out, and we'll worry about the other stuff when it happens.
I mean, it took 300 lost seasons for the Astros.
Yeah.
Where 19,000 people are coming. Yeah.
100 lost seasons aren't any fun.
Oh, my God. And we just haven't had one since 1979. People forget. It's sort of they've been stuck in that. They were stuck in that middle for a good chunk of that playoff drought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's true. But look, you've got an engaged audience now. I think you have a pretty sophisticated baseball audience. You're right; they may not be staying up to watch West Coast National League games, but they are tuned in. And I'm not sure that all just evaporates if you have to kind of go back to the drawing board a little bit.
Stephen, to that point, and I mean, I'm asking you, I guess, maybe to get the crystal ball out. When you factor in a lot of what you just said, Renault's coming to the stadium. A fan base across the city that has been rejuvenated by, the Raptors, the Leafs, FC, certainly the Jays last couple of years. You've got obviously a major decision coming with Josh Donaldson, to say the least, but a solid, young core or two young pieces in your starting rotation, at least, in Aaron Sanchez, Marcus Stroman, Joe Biagini. What does he turn out to be in the future as a starter? You got a young stud in the bullpen as your ace of the, as your closer in Osuna. So you have a lot of structure there already. This doesn't seem like an organization and a company that, let's say, owns us as well, that would want to go through years of losing to replenish the cupboard, as opposed to attempting to try to find a way to do it on the fly. Can you do that?
Well, see, you're correct, right? That's absolutely, and again, this is another one of the kind of binds that the team is in right now. You have an engaged fan base. You have half of a really good young team, guys who are just entering their prime, who are controllable. But the flip side is you have some really old guys. And the only way to kind of keep that going outside of developing your own players is either, is to sign more old guys. And because that's who ends up being free agents by and large. The Jays aren't going to be in the Bryce Harper sweepstakes, but do you want to invest in Josh Donaldson's mid-30s, late 30s, when you're already carrying that Tulowitzki contract that looks like an albatross, when you're still committed to Russell Martin? Does that get you anywhere? And again, you look at the system, and I think Anthony Alford looks like he could be a player, but he may be another year away. Rowdy Tellez has had a tough year in Buffalo. He might be a couple of years away. I don't know that Sean Reed-Foley or Connor Green or those guys are going to be factors in 2018. So you don't have this wealth of talent that's going to show up here and join Sanchez and Stroman and Osuna and Biagini. You're kind of halfway, and it's going to be, it's going out into the kind of free agent market and saying, well, we're going to add to that and we're going to try and hang in. That generally would just exacerbate the problem. It's just kind of putting it off, and it might get you into a real hole where you're bad and you're expensive.